Peace, y'all. As many of you know, I'm Asia and I am a bioregional herbalist based here in Denver, Colorado. And so when we're thinking about bioregion and about health and really about immunity, we're having a conversation about how do we ground in place, and what do we need to do to adapt in terms of our diet and our herbs in order to rely on the immune system that is the planet herself. And so during this video, we're just going to talk briefly about nutritional herbology, some of the things that I am doing during the summer to maintain my health, and lastly, we're going to talk about one of my favorite fruits. So, and thus we begin. So nutritional herbology and really nutritional immunity is a way of nurturing the immune system so that your body has what it needs in order to surmount a defense. And so when we're thinking about the foods and the season here in Colorado and what we should be eating in order to strengthen our immune system, I want to focus a little bit on the season of summer and what it really is for and what we can use it for. So summer is the season of fire. This is the season of heat. It is also a season of storage. This is where all the vegetables and everything are so abundant. There's fruit falling off the trees. The grass is green and beautiful. And so summer is a time when animals, and we are animals as humans, eat as much as they can to store up nutrition and energy for the winter and for the fall. And so when we're thinking about what we should be eating in terms of storage, the biggest things that we can do during the summer is replenish our storage of fat-soluble vitamins. So these are soluble vitamins. These are vitamins A, D, E, and K, and these are the vitamins that are actually stored in our fat. And so these are a good suite of nutrients to kind of think about as we're going to prepare for a fall, which can be problematic, right? Fall and spring are some of the largest seasons where we see a lot of colds and flus and things like that. So summer is a perfect season to prepare for that and to prepare for the winter. So focusing on vitamin D, all you need is your forearms exposed for about 15 minutes between 11 and 2 p.m. and you can get 20,000 units of vitamin D. By doing that, Black folks, you don't need to do anything differently to get your vitamin D. Dark-skinned folks know that the pathways that your body takes for vitamin D are different and aren't readily measured. So you also get your 15 minutes or however much you want. If you need to protect your skin during the summer, to get your vitamin D, my favorite way is by using the oil of St. John. Next up, D, vitamin A. Vitamin A is my favorite vitamin. It's the vitamin that nourishes our microbiome. And so our microbiome are actually the beings who mount a defense against invaders, right? Using the language of war, I will get better. But right now, this is the language I got, right? So vitamin A, the most important thing about vitamin A is that you can't access it unless it's processed. So eating a carrot is not really going to get you vitamin A. Eating a cooked carrot is going to get you vitamin A. You can increase the vitamin A of your foods by fermenting them, by freezing them, and by cooking them with heat, and sometimes by cooking them with fat, which we'll talk about a little later. Okay, so A, D, E. So for vitamin E this summer, I'm focused on sort of the things that grow here in Colorado, and so we have tons of sunflowers. And so I'm eating sunflower seeds, just 1/3 a cup, 1/4, even less a day. It replenishes my body of vitamin E and it makes my skin really nice. But we can grow sunflowers here. Native American folks also made use of lots of sunflower medicine. The sunflower seeds are a seed, which means that they contain anti-nutrients. And so to work, heal those anti-nutrients or make sure that they're not a problem for us. We're going to make sure that our seeds are roasted, preferably soaked and then roasted, but it's all good. So yeah, that's what I'm eating for my vitamin E, as well as oat milk, which I make at home. A, D, E, K. So vitamin K is interesting. You get most of your vitamin K from cows eating rapidly growing green grass in the spring, and so you're getting that from like soft cheeses. You can also get vitamin K from natto. Vitamin K is also found in kale. K is really significant to the growing of our bones, and it's one of those fertility nutrients that a lot of people miss. And so, yeah, those are the ways to replenish your storage of vitamin A, D, E, and K. And I wanted to give you, lastly, but not leastly, a recipe. So this right here. This is my favorite recipe. Watermelon is my favorite fruit. Okay, there's a plum. It's my favorite. But watermelon is my second favorite fruit. And I love it because it comes from Africa. It's one of the significant plants that enslaved people brought over into the New World. They kept the seeds of watermelon in their hair. So all those racist caricatures that you see of black people eating watermelon, unfortunately, they've caused black people to almost shun watermelon. But watermelon is one of the most significant foods for our health, and it has a buttload of vitamin A in it. And so I love watermelon. It's about 90% water, fiber, a little bit of sugar. It's really, really good for the blood and blood pressure. One of the issues, though, is that watermelon is sweet and wet. And so one of the things that happens if you eat too much fruit and sweet, moist things is that you can get like diarrhea and all kind of stuff. I have been a child who's just eaten buckets of cherries and then had terrible results, and we don't want to do that, folks. So one of the ways that we can induce our body to hold on to the fluid that's coming from vitamin A-rich foods like watermelon is simply by adding a little bit of salt to it. And so that salt flavor, it has a way of retaining, and so does acid. So salt and acid added to watermelon is going to help to prevent that diarrhea. The salt, the acid, and what I like to add is the fat. So fat-soluble vitamins are more soluble in fat. So those are some of the principles. So the ingredients for this is organic watermelon. If you can find a seeded watermelon, be sure to get that one. The next thing, what I added for the acid was this beautiful balsamic vinegar that the Marzix brand is like my favorite. Shout out. The next thing that we added for the salt, I have this umeboshi like plum vinegar that you can get from the store, but it's really salty. So any salty thing, even just regular salt. But I wanted the umeboshi because it's delicious. And then the next thing I added was some beautiful olive oil. And that is the salad. The last thing is I like to, just a little bit of pungent. I feel like fresh herbs and fresh mint add such this whole kind of thing. So this is kind of what I'm eating very often, is fruit prepared in this way, whether it's watermelon or something else. But watermelon specifically is high in vitamin A. And the fat actually creates more bioavailability of that vitamin A. Another hack to get the most vitamin A out of your watermelon is to freeze it. Okay, BBs. Well, that concludes our little summer chat today, and live well and prosper.